Nigeria's political parties have officially commenced campaigns for the 2027 presidential and National Assembly elections, marking the beginning of an intense battle for votes ahead of the January 16, 2027 polls. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) opened the campaign window on August 19, 2026, in line with the revised timetable for the elections. Under Section 98(1) of the Electoral Act 2026, political parties are permitted to commence public campaigns 250 days before polling day and must end their campaigns 24 hours before the election. According to INEC's timetable, campaigns for the presidential and National Assembly elections will run from August 19, 2026 to January 15, 2027. Campaigns for the governorship and state houses of assembly elections are scheduled to begin on September 9, 2026 and end on February 5, 2027. The governorship and state assembly elections will take place on February 6, 2027. Tinubu, Atiku, and Obi face fresh political battle. The 2027 presidential election is expected to generate significant political activity as major contenders seek to secure the support of millions of Nigerian voters. President Bola Tinubu, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC), is seeking re-election, while former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, now of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), and Peter Obi, who is contesting under the Nigerian Democratic Congress (NDC), are among the major opposition figures preparing for the contest. The race could once again produce a closely watched three-way contest similar to the 2023 presidential election. In 2023, Tinubu contested under the APC, Atiku represented the People's Democratic Party (PDP), while Obi contested under the Labour Party. Tinubu eventually won the election, with Atiku finishing second and Obi third. Opposition coalition faces major test. The opposition is also exploring the possibility of forming a coalition to challenge the APC. A proposed opposition unity summit in Abuja, reportedly backed by the G100 coalition, led by former APC National Vice Chairman for the Northeast, Salihu Lukman, is aimed at bringing opposition groups together and potentially producing a consensus presidential candidate. However, differences among opposition politicians could make the process and grassroots mobilization extensively to promote Obi's candidacy. Although he finished third, his performance disrupted the traditional dominance of the two major parties and significantly affected voting patterns in several parts of the country. However, questions remain over whether the movement can reproduce the same level of enthusiasm in 2027. APC begins preparation for re-election campaign. The APC has expressed confidence in its ability to retain the presidency. The party's Director of Media and Publicity, Bala Ibrahim, said the ruling party was working to maintain public confidence and secure the renewal of Tinubu's renewed hope mandate. APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka also said the party was preparing a comprehensive nationwide campaign program. According to Morka, although August 19th was the date approved by INEC for the commencement of presidential and National Assembly campaigns, parties were not legally required to hold major campaign events on the first day. He said the APC was taking time to consult with stakeholders before unveiling its nationwide campaign schedule. 2027 race enters new phase. With campaigns now officially underway, political parties are expected to intensify grassroots mobilization, rallies, policy messaging, media campaigns, and voter engagement across the country. The coming months are likely to determine whether the APC can consolidate its position or whether opposition parties can overcome their differences and present a credible alternative to the ruling party. With economic concerns, insecurity, unemployment, and the impact of government reforms expected to feature prominently in the campaign, Nigerian voters will be watching closely as the major contenders unveil their programs and make their case for the presidency. The 2027 presidential race has officially begun. See the newly completed Permanent Secretaries Quarters in Asaba, Delta State, a modern residential project built by Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's administration. This impressive development comprises 12 four-bedroom units designed with modern facilities to provide comfort, security, and a conducive living environment for permanent secretaries serving the state. The project also features paved roads, 24-hour power supply, and enhanced security, giving the residential complex a modern and well-planned outlook. Ahead of the official inauguration, the Secretary to the Delta State Government, Sir Kingsley Emu, inspected the completed quarters to assess the facilities and confirm their readiness. The project is part of Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's More agenda, with the administration highlighting its commitment to the welfare, comfort, and professional well-being of Delta State civil servants. The newly completed quarters represent a significant investment in public service infrastructure and the welfare of senior government officials. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori is expected to officially inaugurate the project on Thursday. What do you think about the newly completed Permanent Secretaries Quarters in Asaba? Watch the video and share your thoughts in the comments.
Oh Father, for us to continually sing your praise and adore you. Thank you, mighty Father. We commit this event into your hands. Pray that everything works together for good and your name glorified forever. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
That as part of his promise, His Excellency made the other day, that civil servants, for the first time in Delta State, will enjoy the 13th month. Your Excellency, God bless you. I'm reliably informed that some civil servants and members of the workforce of Delta have paid part payment for rams they will use in Christmas. Thank you. It is on this note, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to invite a very wonderful and blessed woman. When she came on board, little was known about her. But it is in our time, Your Excellency, that a civil servant became senior advocate of Nigeria. And today we are here witnessing 12 duplexes. I wish I was a civil servant. And I wish I was a permanent secretary. Let's make welcome the head of service, Dr. Mrs. Minimi Oseji.
Your Excellency the Governor, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborevwori, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Chairman of the APC, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol established by Mr. Powell Toss. It is with great joy that I welcome you all to this phenomenal double event featuring commissioning of additional residential accommodation in the Permanent Secretaries Quarters and presentation of official cards to newly sworn-in Permanent Secretaries today. The additional residential accommodation stands as a magnificent testament to the purposeful leadership, as well as a symbol of this administration's commitment to the welfare, dignity, and productivity of its public servants, particularly those that are at the zenith of their careers, that is, the permanent secretaries. The timeline for the conceptualization and execution of this project is as follows. September 2024, the immediate past head of service, Mr. R.O.E. Bayoko MNI, approved my recommendation during his meeting with permanent secretaries to establish a committee to look into options for developing additional residential accommodation for permanent secretaries at the Permanent Secretaries Quarters, Asaba. December 2024, the committee was officially constituted by the immediate past head of service and swung into action with me as the chair, Mr. C. Agedo as secretary, and Mrs. C. Ehime Babiga, Mrs. O. Agas, and Engineer Fuludo as members. March 2025, the committee presented its report to the immediate past head of service. May 2025, I presented the report to His Excellency the Governor, who directed the Ministry of Housing to bring up the memo for the first phase of the project. June 2025, the State Executive Council approved the memo for the project. August 2026, commissioning of 12 units of 4-bedroom duplexes for permanent secretaries. It can only be God. The presentation of brand new official cards to permanent secretaries sworn in on Wednesday, 13th May 2026, as well as the permanent secretary and accountant general who was sworn in on Wednesday, 17th December 2025, is a change in the narrative wherein permanent secretaries waited for years before receiving official vehicles. I received my official vehicle as a permanent secretary in December 2018, 4 years after my swearing in is thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As we pray, the good Lord will continue to guide you to do more for us. We sincerely appreciate all who have contributed to making this event a reality, particularly the contractor, Presnol Global Enterprises. The quality and speed of execution of the project are what of in today to grace this occasion. Thank you and God bless.
Waiting you day here. Congratulations everywhere. Waiting you day here. Oh.
I'm sure you can do better than that. You can do better than that.
Congratulations everywhere. That's the holy sound. Oh.
Thank you. Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I must confess that you're a good mathematician. Okay, why I talk like that? 12 duplexes, 12 cars, equal. I've been told that the cultural troop, they are here. Delta State Troop Arts and Council. Your time has started. Well, Your Excellency, if anybody calls you the hope of the common man, he has not made a mistake. You have given common men hope. Even men when not common, you give them hope. Because you are putting smiles on our faces in different ways. Your Excellency, there are things you have done that you did them and said, go and use without commissioning. They are too numerous. Because if you start commissioning now, you don't go get chance to work for office again. If you start commissioning now, which one we won't go? I was privileged to be in a village called Opokunu. The Honorable Commissioner for Housing, please come. Come. The difference between housing and culture and tourism is not much.
Your Excellency, our able governor, Elder Sheriff Oborevwori, our leader, Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly, our party chairman, Your Excellency, permit me to stand on already established protocol Today is another good day in our lives in Delta State. Yes, a Ministry of Housing. We have opportunity to work closely with our leader, His Excellency, and he has been giving us a lot of opportunity. Today is another day. And glory be to God that we are commissioning this project today. Your Excellency, sir, this job was given out, awarded October last year to Presno Global Services. Some people may be thinking that it is only the structure. Your Excellency, in the structure, we have 4-bedroom duplexes, 12 of them here for the new appointed Permanent Secretary. We have 1 room downstairs. Other 3 rooms is upstairs with other facilities, sir. It's not only the building. It will interest you that today, all the solar you are seeing there is part of the project, sir, and the water project. Your Excellency, it's clear that, yes, today, you have the interest of the civil servant at heart. We have 12 units of 4-bedroom duplexes for the Permanent Secretary. I want to thank you for giving us that opportunity, Minister of Housing. If I want to give stewardship today, I can count many numerous projects from Admiralty to 181 Battalion to all the residential building in Ogara for the doctors. We have a lot, but today we are commissioning this project. Your Excellency, it's good to work with Preneur. That's the Presno Global Services. It's a reputable company in this state. I must confess, Your Excellency, I don't have a lot to say. Permit me to call our orator, MC Powell, to continue from where I stopped. MC, thank you and God bless you, sir.
Your Excellency, the man is overwhelmed. It's not impossible that it's a case of a young man who sent money to his mother. Because of the amount of money, the mother wanted to send text to say thank you. She mistakenly sent a blank text. And when the son had received it, he now called him, Mama. I said, Mama, now blank text. He said, my Pekin, I short of words. So, if the cultural troop then already, let me now welcome His Excellency, our amiable governor, to address us.
For the man when he sabi, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi.
Please sit down, please sit down. You think I have time? I have too many things to do now. Thank you very much. The chairman of our party, the All Progressive Congress, Chief Solomon Arenka, Mr. Speaker, the speaking speaker, Right Honorable Emotimi Guwo, the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Ato Akpowu, leaders. I think the leader of the house is here. Is he there? Okay. Principal officers and members of the Delta State House of Assembly, honorable commissioners, most especially the Commissioner for Housing, Secretary of State Government, Head of Service, Chief Advisor to the Governor, Senior Political Advisor, other special advisors, Local Government Council Chairman here present, Chairmen and members of commissions, boards and agencies, College of Permanent Secretaries. Let me specially recognize His Royal Majesty, Asaba of Asaba, Professor Epiphany Azinge, SAN, ON, and chiefs from your palace, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I address you today with a deep sense of pride and satisfaction. Today's ceremony is another milestone in our journey towards enhancing public sector efficiency. Since inception on May 29, 2023, this administration has worked to ensure that deserving public servants are housed in line with the functionality of their office. You will recall that we have constructed 8 additional duplexes, while work is ongoing on the construction of 10 modern judges' quarters, 5 in Warri. As I speak to you, my deputy governor, Samonde Oyeme, is in Ozoro commissioning the Ozoro Township Market. Like I have said, we have many finished projects, but not enough time to commission them. With this additional of these 12 terrace duplexes, more permanent secretaries will be housed in official accommodation that is befitting of their status in the civil service. As the administrative heads of ministries, departments, and agencies of government, permanent secretaries are critical to the smooth running of government. They manage daily operations of the MDAs, ensure that the rules and regulations guiding the civil service are properly implemented, and provide the necessary professional counsel and guidance to commissioners on the implementation of the administration's policy agenda. It is therefore imperative that permanent secretaries are provided the enabling environment to enable them discharge their duties effectively and efficiently. I note with pleasure that these duplexes and internal roads and drainage system in the quarter that I'm also commissioning today were completed at record speed. The contractor for the buildings was awarded in October last year, while that for the roads and drains were awarded and completed within 6 months. Prior to this construction, the internal roads and drainage system in the quarters were in a complete state of disrepair. They were severely eroded and prone to heavy seasonal flooding. And I can tell you today that with the completion of this work, this area of issue of flood has been resolved. So bringing the terms, the long-term relief to the residents and improved the aesthetics of the quarters. Before now, when you come here, everywhere is looking somehow, but look at it now, looking very beautiful. We give God all the praise. These projects further demonstrate this administration's commitment to the welfare of civil servants in the state. From the inception of this administration, civil servants have continually received vacant attention. To enhance their mobility and operational efficiency, we provided official vehicles to serving permanent secretaries. And today, it is my pleasure to present another 12 vehicles to the permanent secretaries that were recently sworn in. As part of our welfare package of civil servants, this administration has disbursed money to 302 beneficiaries under the Public Officers Vehicle Loan Scheme, while 119 persons have so far benefited under the Public Officer Housing Loan Scheme. Are you not clapping? Meanwhile, we have provided farming inputs to a civil servant willing to go into farming. This will not only provide another stream of income for the beneficiaries, but also help to improve food security in the state. In my inaugural address, I promised that training and retraining of officers will be prioritized, while merit will be the yardstick for elevation into top management positions to encourage the entry into and retention of the best brains in the public service. In fulfillment of that promise, 450 senior management staff received support to attend a comprehensive 7-weekend training program, 2 collaborations with ASCOM. In having a significant shift in leadership development. Today, every local government area has a permanent secretary in the civil service, following the appointment and swearing of 12 permanent secretaries made this. The process was properly done. Not by saying, even the one that was appointed in my place, I don't even know the person. All the permanent secretaries appointed, no one was recommended by anybody but by merit. You will also recall that Delta State was one of the first states to implement the national minimum wage. Is it not true? Full, 100%. How was it done? The Accountant General, Commissioner for Information, the Nigerian Labour Congress, they all sat together and came out with the figures. Even when we are not satisfied with the figure, we did. We agreed to pay all in full. And also, when the permanent secretary said most of the directors are receiving almost the same thing to them, we increased their money. Today, permanent secretary, your salary is 900. My salary is 503,000. Governor salary. Head of service is 1 million. It's clear. So, some of them doesn't want their husband to know how much they are receiving. In an unprecedented move, this administration held 3 town hall meetings and hosted historic dinner for senior management staff of the civil service. The first by a sitting governor in Delta State. An indication of the respect and importance this administration attaches to the civil service. Not to forget that recently we approved the payment of 13 months salary for civil servants beginning from December this year. It might interest you to know that we are in the process of sending an executive bill to the Delta State Assembly to give this gesture legal backing. So it's something that is compulsory. By the time he has a legal backing, even when I leave office in 2031, they will still be paying you your 13 months salary. Speaker, take note. As people resume on the first, it's the first bill you will receive. It is not my intention today to inundate you with our numerous achievements in the civil service. I have highlighted the above to stress the need for loyalty and dedication to duty by the rank and file of the civil service. I therefore urge all civil servants, as well as political appointees, to shun absenteeism, nepotism, waste, inefficiency, and bribery and corruption. Let us all join hands to advance the state to greater heights. This administration shall continue to provide all the necessary structures and infrastructure that enable resource optimization, operational efficiency, and excellent service delivery. Our vision is to leave a legacy of a civil service that is merit-driven and place high premium on competence, transparency, accountability, and integrity. Finally, to the beneficiary of these new duplexes and other existing residents in these premises, I implore you to ensure maintenance, security, preservation, and most importantly, cleanliness of these facilities that have been handed over to you today. And present these 12 vehicles to the head of service on all distribution to the permanent secretaries. God bless Delta State. God bless us all. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Majesty, please come.
Thank you. His Excellency will proceed to unveil the plaque first. Thereafter, cut the tape for the vehicles.
Thank you very much. Where is your Majesty? Please come. Head of service. Okay. The construction of internal roads with drain and construction of 12 number terrace duplex as additional residential accommodation for permanent secretaries Asaba, Oshimi local government area, constructed by the administration of His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F. Oborevwori, commissioned this 20th day of August 2026 by His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F. Oborevwori, Governor of Delta State, to God be the glory.
Yes, His Excellency will now proceed to cut the tape. God bless you. We know the feet thank Governor Rich. God will bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We give God the praise.
Atiku for the man when he sabi. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi. This he become governor, them are just a shine. Sheriff walks the show, not be
Yes.
Hey, Mike, let me get.
Yes, cutting of the tape.
Head of service. Like I promised. That the civil
okay,
service,
one day there.
Get their entitlement. And I've displayed that. No permanent secretary. We don't have official vehicle. The difference between my government is that this official vehicle is a take home when you are retiring. Like a permanent secretary is retiring next month. He's getting it from here and he's taking it home. So it's not, we're not giving you that just to use for official. Use for official at the same time, you will take it home. So I commission it in the name of God the Father, in the name of God the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, His Excellency has commissioned the vehicles.
Atiku for the man when he sabi. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi. Since he become governor, them are just a shine. Sheriff walks the show.
Please make way.
Since you bring Julius Mega,
DJ, hello. Ogawo. Yes.
Atiku for the man when he sabi. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi.
That's what I'm using now.
Thank you, Your Excellency. God bless you. SSG. Your Excellency, the impacted community have asked me to say thank you to you for the tying of the road. May God bless you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ukodo. Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We appreciate you. Members of the House of Assembly, so make I salute you. Your Majesty. Thank you. Governor Sheriff na the man when he sabi. Atiku for the man when he sabi. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi. Since he become governor, them are just a shine. Sheriff walks the show, not be church. Now be smarty, Your Excellency. Thank you. This partnership is working. Jackson Ude, this partnership is working. That is Ambassador Jackson Ude, Ambassador partnership that works. Not be smarty. In case you are not aware, Jackson, Rume Ogenechere is the director, finance and mobilization. Omisu, Ede Oro. If not be say you don't retire, you forget one for you. It's small for you, because you use and do annex. You use and do annex.
Atiku for the man when he sabi. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi. Since he become governor, them are just a shine. Sheriff walks the show, not be church.
Asaba.
You bring Julius Mega, we don't know how to again.
Chief Abraka.
Sheriff na the man when he sabi. Accountability, you be number one. For transparency, clear way for Sheriff. Money they enter the state, we they see them. Your tax are saying, Kodo, thank you.
Don't worry.
Atiku for the man when he sabi. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to sabi. Since he become governor, them are just a shine. Sheriff walks the show, not be church. cho-cho. Since you bring Julius Mega, we don't know our state again. Governor Sheriff na the man when he sabi.
Nabi Smalo, Ukodo.
The number one.
Ukodo. Dimaro. 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 Ukodo, don't do him again, no. Ukodo is record breaking. Ukodo to go home from here. Doctor. I know say you don't need the motor, but you go still take them. You don't need them, but don't worry, you're on the road, they come. Don't worry. All those permanent secretaries where we swear give recently, I mean where they do swearing in for. Doctor. All of Nigerians, they smile, they smile, they smile, they smile. Beg, since you are not going to give me motor, make you give me una spare tire each. Yes, now who be that person? So, what be that name? So, Bugo Victor. Where is Victor Bugo? Where he come now? Victor Bugo. You don't say your motto give you that time for swearing it. Now you don't take tear rubber. Say your guy call meeting. Now say motto get problem. Leave the old one for your wife. They use this one. But I know some madam go seize this one. As you reach out, some madam go say, I better drop the key. Drop the key. Because HOS, I need to report something to you. The men are the permanent. The women are the wives are the permanent, the men are the secretaries. So, CHOS is here. Uneni, they never give you motor before. Oh yeah, they go home. Omare, not make me vex. Mare, not make me vex. That day, during the swearing, you don't say one permanent secretary, motor break for road. So as motor brainer will say, now Gavex say mosquito the new motor now. As I say, thank God for this man. I say no. This is very fair. They never give you motor before. Oh yeah, they go home now. What you not on the wait? Supporters club. Supporters day. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, you will know where we hide our things. HOS, you are a blessed woman. Because, but that may not be smart, you know.
The sixth one is security, neutrality, and professionalism. How well did our security architecture and security personnel, how professional were they, and how neutral were they?
The January 16th poll is expected to be a rematch.
And accreditation. How well did the beavers work? The voting and counting processes. The 10th one is results management and transmission. We all followed the results and how it was being transmitted to the IREF. The 11th one is collation and transparency. The 12th point we looked at is the protection of party agents and observers. The absence of widespread intimidation and arbitrary detention. The 14th one is post-election transparency and dispute management. And the last but not the least is the overall confidence of stakeholders in the electoral process. Based on the evidence, reports, observations, and experiences presented to this conference, the national discourse assessed that the Osun election met approximately 92% of the benchmarks adopted for the review. You will agree with me that this is a significant achievement. It is not a declaration that the election was perfect, never. I want to reiterate that it is not a declaration that the election was perfect. Indeed, no election is perfect. There were and will always be areas requiring improvement. But the appropriate question is whether the process demonstrated meaningful progress. Our conclusion is that it did. Professor Amupitan, a confidence vote earned by conduct. Our most significant institutional conclusion concerns the chairman of INEC in the person of Professor Josh Ojomupitan, SAN. When Professor Amupitan was appointed chairman of INEC, there were questions in some quarters about whether his appointment by the president would affect his independence. You will believe with me that so many people questioned that he is a Kankani member of the All Progressive Congress. Those questions were legitimate. The appropriate response, however, is not to judge an electoral empire solely by who appointed him. The appropriate test is in office. And that is precisely what we have done. We have watched, we have assessed, we have listened to political parties. We have examined the electoral preparations. We have observed the Osun State process. Our conclusion, and rightly so, is that Professor Amupitan has earned the benefit of the doubt and, more importantly, has earned our confidence. Please, a round of applause for Professor Amupitan. A resounding round of applause for Professor Amupitan. Thank you. The conference, therefore, hereby passes a vote of confidence on Professor Josh Ojo Amupitan, SAN. Please, at this point, I want us to stand up and give a resounding applause to Professor Josh Amupitan. Please, everybody stand up. Keep clapping. It is a vote of confidence on Professor Josh Ojo Amupitan, SAN, the national chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission. Thank you very much, and you may see it. This we do, particularly in relation to his demonstrated commitment to credible elections and the preparations being undertaken towards the 2027 general elections. This confidence, my dear professor, is not a blank check. It is conditional upon continued performance, continued independence, continued transparency, and continued adherence to the law. Pre-election preparations. One of the strongest elements of our assessment is that the Osun election cannot be considered in isolation from the preparations that preceded it. We examine the Commission's planning, its timetable, stakeholder engagement, communication with political parties, and preparations for the 2027 electoral cycle. We found encouraging evidence of a more proactive approach. INEC has been engaging political parties and other stakeholders ahead of 2027. While its published electoral timetable and regulatory preparations have provided political actors with clearer milestones for planning, the Commission has also stated publicly that it intends to act impartially and transparently and to deepen the use of technology in the electoral process. We commend the Commission for this approach. An election does not begin on election day. A credible election begins months, and in some cases, years before voters arrive at the polling units. We therefore regard the pre-election preparations as one of the reasons Professor Amupitan has earned this confidence. The electoral timetable. We particularly commend the Commission for following its timetable and for providing political parties with the opportunity to plan around established electoral milestones. Predictability is an important component of electoral credibility. Political parties need to know when activities will occur. Candidates need to know the rules. Civil society organizations need to know when to monitor. Security agencies need time to prepare. And voters need confidence that the rules will not be changed arbitrarily. The Commission's current regulatory framework also reflects its stated objective of ensuring that political party processes are simple, transparent, and clearly understood by stakeholders. Political party engagement. We also commend the Commission for its engagement with political parties. I will rightly tell you here that the Commission always have or hold quarterly consultative meeting with all political parties in Nigeria and extended with all stakeholders for our electoral processes. This is a democratic election. This democratic election cannot be administered effectively in isolation from the political parties that participate in it. We therefore encourage INEC to deepen regular consultation with all registered political parties, irrespective of their size or political strength. The smaller parties must not become invisible in the electoral process. Every registered political party represents citizens. Every legitimate candidate represents voters. And every voter deserves equal protection. The question of party deregistration. We also took note of the Commission's approach to the issue of political party registration and deregistration. The conference particularly recognizes the decision of Professor Mupitan and the Commission to exercise institutional restraints in relation to the deregistration of political parties, despite the existence of a subsisting High Court judgment pending further judicial consideration. We understand the position taken by the Commission to be formed by the desire for greater judicial certainty and institutional stability. We believe that this demonstrates an important principle. INEC must protect the institution, not pursue individuals or political interests. Political parties should not be casually eliminated from the democratic space. Democracy thrives on participation. We therefore commend the Commission's commitment to inclusive participation while insisting that all political parties must comply with the law and applicable regulatory framework. Electronic transmission of results. The conference also reviewed the results management process. Participants and observers reported that results were transmitted electronically from polling units through the IREV, the INEC Result Viewing Platform. This is important because transparency in results management is central to public confidence. Technology cannot solve every electoral problem, but where properly deployed, it can reduce uncertainty, strengthen transparency, and provide an auditable trail. We therefore encourage INEC to continue strengthening the technological architecture of elections while simultaneously ensuring that its systems are resilient, accessible, and properly communicated to political parties and the public. Security and the Osun experience. The national discourse equally commends the security agencies for the role they played in the election. We specifically recognize the Nigerian Police Force, the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Army, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, alongside the other agencies involved in election security. Our commendation is not based mainly on appearances. Political parties participating in this review conference found no evidence of the kind of widespread pattern of indiscriminate arrests of opposition agents and political leaders that has historically generated distrust around elections. We therefore commend the security agencies for contributing to an environment in which voters, electoral officials, political party agents, and electoral materials could operate with greater security. But we also say clearly, security neutrality must become a permanent feature of Nigerian election, not an expectation, not an exception. In the like manner, we have a recommendation to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The national discourse also commends President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our commendation is specifically for the conduct of the federal government before and during the election. Days before the election, the EFCC had procured the freezing of the bank accounts belonging to the Osun State government. The President subsequently directed that steps be taken to unfreeze the account. We also recognize the direction given to security agencies involved in the election to maintain neutrality and provide an environment for a free and fair contest. For an incumbent president whose party was participating in the election, this was significant. The conference believes that federal power should never be used as an instrument to predetermine an electoral outcome. The president's conduct in Osun, therefore, deserves commendation, and let us say thank you, sir. If the federal government had chosen to use its powers to interfere with the electoral process, the story of Osun could have been very different. Instead, the electorate was allowed to speak. Governor Deleka's victory demonstrates what becomes possible when the electoral umpire, security agencies, and the federal government allow the electorate to freely determine the outcome. That is the essence of democracy. The National Assembly. We also commend the National Assembly for its contribution to electoral reform and for the legislative reforms designed to strengthen the legal framework governing elections. Electoral administration cannot be separated from electoral legislation. INEC can only operate effectively within the legal framework provided for the Constitution and the Electoral Act. We therefore encourage the National Assembly to continue reviewing the electoral framework, addressing identified weaknesses in the extant Electoral Act 2026, and providing the Commission with the legal clarity necessary to conduct credible elections. No more unwarranted attacks on INEC. We also believe that the time has come for Nigerians to judge Professor Ahmed Bitan by his actions. An appointment by a president does not automatically make an electoral commissioner an instrument of the president. The proper test is conduct. Professor Ahmed Bitan has now had an opportunity to demonstrate his approach. Osun has provided evidence. We therefore appeal to political actors and commentators to stop making unsupported assumptions about the INEC chairman and to judge him by the standards of independence, transparency, and performance. Our confidence today does not mean that we will stop watching INEC. Never. this is quite the opposite. We will watch more closely because we now have confidence in the institution and its leadership. The 2027 standard. This brings us to our most important conclusion. Osun must not become an exception. Osun must become the benchmark. The standard achieved in Osun must be the floor below which the 2027 general elections must not fall. If Nigerians can conduct an election in which political parties compete, voters freely choose, security agencies remain neutral, INEC operates independently, and results reflect the will of the electorate, then there is no justification for returning to the old culture of intimidation, manipulation, and electoral interference. The 2027 election must be better, and we reiterate, must be better than the Osun state election. It must be more transparent. It must be more inclusive. It must be more technologically secure. It must be more predictable and more trusted by all Nigerians. Our message to Professor Amopitan. Our beloved Professor Amopitan, this national discourse says to you today, you have earned our confidence. You now have a responsibility to protect it. Continue to engage political parties. Continue to respect the electoral timetable. Continue to protect the independence of INEC. Continue to strengthen the use of technology. Continue to protect the votes of Nigerians. And above all, continue to remember that the institution you lead belongs not to you, not to the staff, members of staff of INEC, but to the Nigerian people. Our message to the President, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, Mr. President, we equally say, continue on this track. The credibility of Nigeria's democracy is bigger than the interest of any political party. When the president allows Nigerians to choose freely, the president strengthens the legitimacy of the Nigerian state. When security agencies remain neutral, democracy becomes stronger. When INEC is allowed to operate independently, the government becomes more legitimate. And when votes count, Nigeria wins. Conclusion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this national discourse has demonstrated something important. Opposition political parties can criticize government when government does wrong. But opposition parties must also have the courage to commend government when government does right. That is what responsible opposition means. We will not praise anyone because of political affiliation. And we will not condemn anyone simply because they do bad, we will speak. When they do good, we will speak. Today we speak. Today we commend President Bola Tinubu for creating an enabling environment for the Osun election. Today we commend Professor George Ojo Amopitan for his leadership of INEC and pass a vote of confidence on him. We commend the security agencies for their professionalism and neutrality. We commend the National Assembly for its contribution to electoral reforms. But above all, we commend the people of Osun State, who are indeed the real heroes of this election. They voted, their votes counted, and democracy prevailed. The African Center for Justice and Human Rights have provided an important platform for this national conversation, and we commend all participating political parties, especially the national chairman of Action People's Party, High Chief Uchenna Nnadi. We commend you, sir. Thank you for being here with us. We also commend the national coordinator of the youth, ethnic youth organization of Nigeria, Comrade Meliga, my big brother. We thank you, sir, for coming around. We commend all political parties, the leaders of political parties that are here present. We commend all ethnic youth organizations. If you see them, you know them. We commend all the community leaders that are here present. We commend all religious leaders, women leaders, observers, and civil society actors for contributing to this process. We also earnestly commend the PBAT's door-to-door civil society engagement unit for its support towards grassroots democratic participation and civic engagement. Our political differences must not prevent us from working together to strengthen democracy. The Nigerian people, we the Nigerian people, all of us the Nigerian people, we deserve an electoral system in which their votes are protected, their choices respected, and their leaders derive legitimacy from their consent. Osun has given us a reason of hope. And we believe that this reason of hope will continue come 2027 general election. We must ensure that the hope becomes a standard. And on this note, I would say it is a victory for the people of Nigeria. It is a victory for democracy. And it is a victory for every one of us. Thank you and you're welcome. As I round up, I will give the mic to the representative of African Center for Justice and Human Rights so that she will definitely give us their own insights from the point they viewed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Good day, everyone. Straight into the business of the day. Osun election. Democracy must be measured by the freedom of the people to choose. The African Center for Justice and Human Rights is pleased to have provided was to help create a space in which the electoral process could be examined honestly against the principles of democratic participation, equality, freedom of choice, institutional independence, and respect for the fundamental rights of citizens to participate in determining who governs them. Our role was not to manufacture a conclusion. Our role is to provide the space in which political parties and institutions breached at the national discourse that the Osun elected participation in Nigeria. The most important human rights issue in any election is simple. Can a citizen freely exercise the right to vote without intimidation, coercion, or fear? Or can that vote genuinely contribute to determine the outcome? From the reports, observations, and experiences presented during the discourse, we believe that the Osun election demonstrated meaningful progress in this regard. We commend the people of Osun State, who remain the real heroes of the election, for exercising their civic rights and participating in the democratic process. We equally commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for creating an environment in which the federal government did not election. From a human rights perspective, neutrality by government is not a political favor. It is a democratic obligation. We commend the security agencies for contributing to an environment which voters, electoral officials, political party agents, and observers could participate with greater confidence. Security agencies have a profound responsibility during elections because the right to vote becomes meaningless if citizens cannot approach the polling units without fear. Most importantly, we commend the chairman of INEC, Professor Joash Ojo-Amupitan, FAN, for what the national discourse identified as a demonstrated commitment to institutional independence. For confidence. Civil society will continue to watch. Political parties will continue to scrutinize. Citizens will continue to demand accountability. That is not hostility to democracy. That is democracy. We also believe that human rights organizations must be intellectually honest. When government violates rights or democratic principles, civil society must speak. But when public institutions act in ways that advance democratic rights, we must equally have the courage to acknowledge and commend such conduct. We cannot demand accountability and then become incapable of recognizing progress. We cannot demand accountability and then become incapable of recognizing progress. The Osun experience must therefore not become a one-off event. It must become an institutional culture. The standard of electoral neutrality, security professionalization, stakeholder engagement, transparency and respect for the voter's voice demonstrated in Osun must be consolidated and improved upon as Nigeria moves towards 2027. The African Center for Justice and Human Rights will continue to support democratic participation, defend the rights of citizens to freely choose their leaders, and engage institutions constructively while remaining prepared to speak whenever democratic or human rights standards are threatened. Our message, therefore, both one of commendation and responsibility. Osun has given Nigeria a reason to be hopeful. 2027 must give Nigerians even greater reasons to trust their democracy. Thank you. I'll be inviting Honorable Maliga, the National Coordinator of Ethnic Youth Leaders, to the podium.
Thank you very much, my sister. The youth have a stake in the ballot. Our position, an assessment of Osun governorship election. Let me start by thanking the ethnic youth leaders, members of ethnic youth leaders who are here, the Arewa Conservative Youth Movement, Odua Youth Council, the Odezen Dibo Youth Movement, Middle Belt Youth Vanguard, and the rest who are all here. I must commend all of you for your contributions during the two-day discourse. I am really proud of all of you. And with your contributions, I see that the project Nigeria will definitely be possible one day. I thank you all. Let me, on behalf of the ethnic youth leaders of Nigeria, make our position very clear following the two-day national post-election discourse on the Osun governorship election. We came to the discourse not as representatives of political parties and not as supporters of any particular candidate. We came as representatives of young Nigerians who have a direct and enormous stake in the future of democracy. The Arewa Conservative Forum Youth Movement, the Odua Youth Council, Odezen Dibo Youth Movement,
the Middle Belt Youth Vanguard, and the South-South Youth Council, and other ethnic youth leaders who are here, who participated during the discourse. Among others, participated in the national conversation because we believe that the future of Nigeria cannot be separated from the credibility of its elections. Young people are often the first victims when elections go wrong. If you think back and monitor the Osun State election, you agree with me that most of those who really got injured, attacked, were young people. We are the ones recruited to the streets. The young people were the ones used as political talks. We are the ones exposed to violence. We are the ones told to fight for politicians, while those politicians send their own children away for safety. We say today that enough is enough. Nigerian youths do not want to be instruments of electoral violence anymore. We want to be participants in democracy. We want to vote. We want our votes to also count. We want to choose leaders based on their ideas and competence, not on intimidation, ethnic manipulation, vote buying, or violence. That is why the outcome of the Osun election matters a lot to us as young people. We want to use the opportunity to commend the great people of Osun State for coming out to exercise their civic responsibilities. They voted and they stood until their votes were counted. And today, you can see the happiness in Osun State. You can see civil servants rejoicing with their governor because their votes counted. And I also believe that in 2027, if we all come out like Osun, our votes will definitely count by the grace of God. We commend the security agencies for providing an environment in which citizens could vote. We commend President Bola Tinubu for allowing the federal government to maintain neutrality and for resisting the temptation to use federal power to determine the outcome of the Osun election. And we also commend the chairman of INEC, Professor George Ojo Amukutan, SAN. And when government does not interfere properly, the people can speak. And when the people speak, politicians must listen. We therefore call on all Nigerian youths to reject electoral violence in 2027. Let us reject vote buying, reject intimidation, reject ethnic hatred, reject the politics of destruction. Let us come out to register. Get your permanent voters card. Learn the issues. Vote. Protect your vote peacefully. And hold whoever wins accountable. Our message to President Tinubu is very simple. Continue on this path. Our message to the INEC National Chairman, Professor Amukutan, is equally simple. You have earned our confidence. Now, please protect it. And our message to the political class is very simple. Do not recruit our young people to destroy democracy that belongs to all of us. I want to use this opportunity to tell Nigerian youth not to participate in violence, not to participate in hatred, but with our voices, with our votes, and our determination to build a better Nigeria. I want to thank all of us. Thank the members of the fourth estate of the rank for always listening to our call. We appreciate you, and God bless us all. Thank you all.
Thank you. At this point, we want to invite the national chairman for just a remark.